Welcome to the Militia Gaming community. I'm Trigger, and I've got 5 tips for you to make your life way easier in Need for Speed Unbound. Let's go! Tip number 1 is that the starter car option is not as important as you think. And in a lot of games, the starter car does help you progress faster, but in this game, you actually won't be using it for that long. And I don't want to give away any spoilers, but it has to do with the story. You will, however, be purchasing a car, and I'm going to make a video on this later after I get a chance to test all of the cars. There's about 12 cars that are available for you to purchase once you finish the prologue. So that's really where you're going to be picking the car that you're going to be using for the majority of the campaign, or at least the very beginning of it. But don't worry too much about picking that initial starter car. There are 3 options. Just pick the one that you think looks the best. Tip number 2 is that once you've passed the prologue and you've gotten to this screen here, which is your weekly events, you do not need to do every single event on the map in order to progress the story. You only need to do one event or earn any type of money. So in the top right hand corner, you'll see you've got green money or white money and red money. The red money is what you've earned in that session, and that's the money that you can lose if you get busted. If you have any money there, you can just return to the garage and progress the story. Now you have to balance this because you do need money in order to upgrade your cars so that you're fast enough to keep up with the racers, but you can kind of balance this how you need to and progress through these days as fast as you can. Each week has 2 sections to it, the daytime and the nighttime, and you're going to want to progress through those as quickly as possible to get to the weekly qualifier, because that's what gives you the best rewards. So just balance this as best you can, but just remember, you do not have to do all of the events on the map. You can actually just do one event or just earn a little bit of money and then return back to the garage. Tip number 3 is to make sure that you adjust the handling of your car. You can go to the pause menu when you're in the open world, then go to handling tuning and adjust these settings. You're going to want to have something that drifts pretty well, but also can grip through certain corners. Just adjust it to where it feels good for you. This will help you get through the campaign easier. It'll also make the car feel a lot better, trust me. Just play with these settings until you get it just right. I actually recommend gas tap for the drift entry on certain cars, particularly the car that I've been using, which is the Mitsubishi Eclipse GSX. This is my setup for that car, but just play with these settings. Trust me, it'll help the game feel a lot better once you get settings that you actually like. All right, tip number 4 is that there are 2 different options for NOS. You've got your blue meter and your yellow meter. Your blue meter actually just is your regular NOS. It's your full NOS bottle. It refills by doing different things like getting close to cars or driving in the oncoming lane or drifting, and you can use it by just pressing A and holding it. You can use it as little or as much as you want. All right, for the yellow bar, it actually fills up the fastest while drafting or in air, but you can see I've got 1 bar full, I've got 2 bars full, and when I get 3 bars, that's when you get the biggest boost. So I'll even sit behind guys sometimes to get that 3rd bar, because it gives you a nice boost. And you're going to want to use that as quickly as possible, because it actually goes away if you don't use it right away. So see, I can just sit behind this guy and it'll fill up. Even from this far, it's filling up with drafting. Once it's full, you want to definitely use it. Even if you just have 1 bar, you want to use it. You can get it for drifting, for drafting, and for jumping. So when you have a jump, you'll also see it being filled up. As you can see there, I used both NOS at the same time. I tapped in order to use my full yellow, and then I just held it down to unleash my entire bottle and help me win that race. That is a very good way to use that NOS. Just make sure you don't lose that yellow NOS. Use it as much as you can. Tip number 5 is that to initiate a drift, you're going to need to tap the gas or the brake, depending on what setting you have enabled. But it will initiate if you just tap it. The other issue that I've noticed though is that if you don't tap it, if you let off the gas a little bit and then you press it again like this, then you'll just grip the corner like that. So you don't want to do that if the corner is real sharp. I'll show you an example again. So this one, you let off the gas a little bit and then go again, it grips the corner, it won't drift it. But if you let go real quick and then tap again, you get a nice drift. Now that was an ugly drift, but you'll get a drift. And the same thing goes with using the brake. So it's going to be a quick release of the gas, and then a tap again, and then you've got a nice drift. And you're going to want to counter steer as much as you possibly can on this, because it does oversteer quite a bit. I got a bonus tip for you. To do a perfect start, you're going to need your speedometer to be right in the middle of that small bar section. We'll zoom in for it on the video here. It'll turn green when you hit it just right, and you won't spin wheels on the start. Alright guys, that's it for this quick short video. Hopefully it makes your life a little bit easier in Need for Speed Unbound when you're just starting. If you have any questions about this, feel free to DM me on Instagram, Twitter, or Discord. Shout out to all the Heat 5 members of the channel. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.